So we talk about the Caitlin Clark effect a lot on this channel. And we talk about it a ton, in fact. And we talk about the positives of it, and more so than the negatives of it, because the reality of the situation is like when there is positives and negatives, focusing on the positives is always going to lead to more like a more productive outcome. And one of the big positives, people may not think it is, like, heck, a lot of fans have stayed and watched. A lot of big fans of the WNBA have stayed and watched. They came through Caitlin Clark. Me being one of them. Heck, I paid £1,500 to go see the Lynx and the Liberty. And for that, if you guys could subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. We're 19 subscribers off 37.5k. But like, I'm speaking my wallet. I'm speaking with my wallet. But yeah, so we've got that. And then we're going to have to take a look at this right here. And this is a wild story. This is an absolutely wild story. This is a Caitlin Clark in Uganda story. Yes, Uganda. So hopefully all is okay with the sound right here.
Effect can be felt around the country, and as KCCI's Jody Long discovered, even around the world.
No matter where you live, you've likely heard of Caitlin Clark and are drawn to her record-breaking success. For the first time in 25 years, a record 3 million people tuned in to watch the Iowa women play Ohio State earlier this month.
And like, the maddest part about this is that it's like, this is obviously a while ago, and things have only continued to improve. And this is just going to be a video just talking about the all-around effect, because obviously basketball is a worldwide game. Like, if you look in, no matter where you go in the world, for other sports, is that you will see kids wearing, you're going to see kids wearing Lionel Messi, you're going to see kids wearing Cristiano Ronaldo jerseys. And you're now seeing it more and more when it comes to basketball. You're going to be seeing kids wearing Steph Curry jerseys. And like, heck, for some reason, if somebody can explain to me why Tyler Hero is so popular, like, I don't get it. Like, when I was in the Philippines, it was like, I just saw Tyler Hero's face everywhere. Can someone explain to me why Tyler Hero is so popular in like the Philippines, in Africa? Like, he's not popular in America, but he's somehow, for some reason, popular outside of America.
Even from a world away.
We were curious at first. As the game went on, we fell in love with what we were watching, and we became more excited on seeing how the scores were happening.
From a small hut in the northern Uganda city of Gulu, a group of young women squeezed in to watch the Hawkeyes beat the Buckeyes on a monitor powered only by solar energy and Wi-Fi. Having never watched a game of basketball in their lives, they were all instantly hooked.
Seeing how the thing was happening like magic in my eyes, and I like it so much, and I said, wow, I can also try it.
Sports act as a therapy for these young women who are refugees and victims of war.
At Child Voice, we believe in empowering younger girls. Girls who have faced terrible trauma. For girls' empowerment and believing in themselves that, yes, I can make it, no matter what circumstances are surrounding them.
So you might be wondering how a group of girls from Africa were introduced to the Iowa women's basketball team. The nonprofit organization Child Voice is helping these girls get back on their feet with education and job training. The founders are lifelong Hawkeye fans who describe number 22 as the ultimate role model.
That is hilarious. Or not even hilarious, it's just good to watch. And it's like, everyone wants to talk about all the bad things that has come from this, but I think in 20 years' time, the growth in women's sports, the growth in women's basketball, like, the WNBA has become a major sports league. And look, I'm going to be completely honest. It's because of the number 22 in Indiana. That is the reality of the situation. And you're seeing it there even when she was in college, that like, there were people infatuated with how she played from Uganda. And I mean, if you just said and you were like, oh, but like, it's only because they were showed Iowa games. I'm sorry, like, there's a reason why people are infatuated with Steph Curry. And you can't even use the race argument because they're in Uganda. Like, I'm sorry. These players are just seeing somebody throw the ball so far and it going in. And like, they're the type of things, the highlight plays, that women's basketball has needed. They've needed it. And look, Breanna Stewart shoots the occasional one. I think Chelsea Gray, some of those step back threes she shoots are crazy. But a lot of the time you see, say, a season montage and you might see 4 or 5 of those shots. If you just watch Kate, like, I would, like, when people are asking me about Caitlin Clark, I would just show them the one game montage of her against LSU. And they were like, is she like just the best player in the world or something? Like, her individual game montages looked like season-long highlight tapes of other players. And that's the reality of it, is that women's basketball is never going to have the dunk. So when we talk about the highlight plays, I always say this. There are 2 different types of highlight plays. There is the dunk and there is the 3-point shot. And especially when it's someone who can create a 3-point shot off the dribble. I think Arike is somebody that, if she was on, for example, if Arike wasn't playing for the Dallas Wings, if this season with the More Eyes, Arike was, say, on a better team. The problem is that a better team, like, will never allow Arike to do what Arike wants to do. But we saw in the All-Star break, I think Arike is one of the most fun players to watch in the W. But there are players that are just more fun to watch. And the biggest sign of, like, people that are fun to watch as far as individuals are when non-basketball fans are interested in watching them. And I mean, like, I don't mean any disrespect to, like, even I love the Minnesota Lynx. Like, I've played ball at a decent level. I've coached ball at a decent level. Like, they play beautiful basketball. I like the New York Liberty. They don't play quite as beautiful basketball as the Minnesota Lynx, but they play good basketball. I hate the Connecticut Sun because everyone who has played any sort of decent basketball, even at any age, knows what the Connecticut Sun are. They are athletic. They're strong. They may not be as skilled as the other team, but they will sure as hell use their advantages to drag you down to their level. And then the Las Vegas Aces just played awful basketball this season. But the one factor is like, if every single player was a green alien from the planet Dagobah and looked the same, the number 22 clone in Indy, if every player was a faceless robot, the faceless robot wearing 22 in Indiana would still be the most exciting faceless robot to watch. And that's just the reality of the situation. As you can see it. You see it more from other countries because obviously, look, I'm Irish. I don't know what's going on in America. I don't understand the landscape. And I don't want to understand the landscape because at the end of the day, I like basketball. And she's the most interesting player to watch in basketball right now because I hate the 82 games in a regular season. And then the NBA playoffs kind of slows down. But like, watching Caitlin Clark now reminds me of 2016 Steph, where every day you wake up and you see a new crazy highlight. And especially for people getting into the sport of basketball, getting into women's basketball. Look, Caitlin Clark is the player people should be showing them to show it off. Because people that are interested in women's sports are going to continue to watch women's sports. And to be honest, the big factor for why tennis in women's is so big is because, as from an entertainment standpoint, it's not that much different men's and women's. From why gymnastics is so big, from an entertainment standpoint, gymnastics might be better than the women's because someone like Simone Biles is there. But from the entertainment standpoint, it had never been even close with basketball. The player that is bridging the gap is wearing 22 for Indiana. And she's bridging the gap all over the world. Because we're now going to be seeing more and more players coming through. And yes, there have been players in the past, like an Arike, stuff like that. But just because you can make the argument of people should have been watching X, Y, and Z doesn't change the fact that people are watching Caitlin Clark. And it's an objectively good thing for current players, future players, and players that are and young players considering playing basketball instead of soccer. Because now they're like, okay, yeah, I'd rather do this because this league is bigger.